What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Masked Up Motors. This is your boy, Daddy. So previously, one of the bolts were seized up on there. So I decided to go on Amazon, did a little bit of shopping, and found a couple of tools that I could possibly use to help me out. Now, this might go horribly wrong, and I would have to end up just drilling a hole through it. Whole process I don't want to deal with. So hopefully all goes well, and I don't just drive this thing off a cliff. Alright, so this is the first tool I bought. Apparently what this does is I will put the bolt right in here, crank this until the bolt breaks loose. Now, I think I should do this first because I also bought this. So what this is a set of sockets, and these grooves kind of cut into the bolt to get a better grip. I am hesitant in using this because I might just end up breaking the whole bolt rather than taking off the actual nut. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to break the bolt. I want to try to save as much of it as I possibly can. So I will be using this for today, and wish me luck that I can actually take this off and continue originally what I was supposed to be doing and taking off that oil pan. So if this doesn't work, then I will be crying tears of sadness. Well, I'm just really hoping this works out. All right, so right here is the culprit. Let's see if this will snap eventually fits. Alright guys, that nut splitter was not working out for me, so I decided to put this bolt extractor on, set it into its spot, and give a little couple whacks so we can see if we can get that to move. Handy dandy. Cross your finger, guys, because I'm about to cry if this does not work. I don't think you guys want to see a grown man cry. If you do, you have some problems. And moment of truth. Oh, yes. Who's your daddy now? That's what I'm talking about. Definitely the pinnacle of my day. And now we can continue with the other bolts. I should also maybe drain the oil before I continue. I haven't done that. So guys, I just wanted to show you how seized up it was in there, like this. Yeah, I got it all chewed up from that bolt extractor, but I'm just ecstatic that it is finally out, and now I can continue with my wonderful little project. So if you ever have any bolt issues and are not afraid to destroy a bolt, I have like a million of these. Don't necessarily carry this. I'm gonna have to reorder a new one. Can't use this again, but highly recommend getting this wonderful thing. This little tool set, amazing, made light work of everything. Highly recommend. I bought it on Amazon. Literally, I think it was like 20 bucks. So if you have an issue with bolts, not sponsored by Topec, but definitely worth the effort. All right, now for the final part of the exhaust manifold. We already got that taken out, the one over there. And now we got this last part that we can finally tackle the motor mounts done. Maybe I should change out the motor mounts since I'm already going to be there, but maybe not. I don't know. I'll think about it. Guys, so I just wanted to show you my awesome technique on how I got this in here to get that bolt in the back. So what I did was I just put a long extension in, and I just put the bolt on the other side. I don't know if you can see it there-ish. See it wiggling around? Yeah, I kind of just reached around, put the bolt in, because if not, yeah, it'll just come right out, and I just gotta put this in there. Was able to get it, not too bad. And this bolt right here wasn't even tight. It was like, I didn't even have to crack it. I was just like turning it, and I was like, wait a minute, am I stripping it? No, it's literally just finger tightened, and probably why I was smelling a lot of exhaust fumes, and yeah. Could have died from carbon monoxide poisoning. That would have been fun. What a way to go, guys. Just like driving and just pass out, and yeah, what an interesting way to go. All right, finally, we got this little bad boy out with a lot of wiggling and jiggling on these ports. They're not looking too bad, but however, I will clean them up. It looks like this one was leaking, didn't really seal properly. This one's not too bad, but this one for sure was definitely leaking through. I'm gonna get this all cleaned up. I have some brand new Grimspeed gaskets that I'm gonna throw on, and I'm probably gonna buy a new wrapping for it because it's looking pretty rough. Now, all I gotta do is drain the oil, do the motor mounts, lift it up, take off the oil pan, and see how it's looking from there. All right, so let's drain this oil. Pretty curious to see how much oil I have left in here, you know, because a lot of it just ended up on my floor. I did buy a new drain. Oh shit. I did buy a new drain plug by Mishimoto with a neodymium magnet, so none of the you know, metal shavings or whatnot gets in here. Let's see what she looks like. Chalky milk. Speaking of chalky milk, has anybody ever had Chocolisto? It's by far my favorite chocolate milk. Very impressed on how much oil is in here. Very concerning, actually. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. All right, so I figure I'd do a little bit of an unboxing. So this is the old exhaust manifold gasket. Pretty torn up, so I got these fresh new Grimspeed ones. Huge difference. Actually, these are not too different. The port up here where one of the bolts go in, kind of concerning since it doesn't really line up correctly. Take that back. I guess they only go in one way, but these not so much, not too different. And then I got this one as well. This one goes onto the towards the turbo, also by Grimspeed. This one's very different. I will show you that in a second. It's kind of like still under the car, but I also have, so that's the old oil drain plug, and this one's Mishimoto. I haven't opened it yet. There's like, it's so much bigger. Let's see if I can get this open. I love the packaging. It's like, hey, you paid good money, but if I can't, come on. What the? They really care about their packaging. Jeez. All right, pretty nice. Take this bad boy out. Nice Mishimoto logo. So this is the new one. Beautiful, beautiful. Even has a gasket right here. This one very flimsy. Does have a gasket, but very small in comparison. Very small. Wow. That is a pretty powerful magnet. I'm very excited to use this. Kind of curious to see what kind of gunk this thing picks up. But all right, so this is one of the ports from the exhaust manifold. As you can see, still needs to be cleaned up before I move along. I'm probably just gonna end up taking out the oil pan first before I start cleaning things up, but you guys can see me take that bolt off right there, the one that's sheared right off, and I guess the previous owner before me decided not even to fix it. So you know what, if he's watching this, fuck you, guy. Alright guys, so my initial plan to getting bolts in, extracting them was a little bit difficult since I couldn't get a bolt over these threads. However, my little extractor tool that I just bought, I just smacked it in there with a hammer. It cut the threads away, and now it's coming right off with a little bit of help with PP Blaster, the nectar from the gods themselves. Finally get this bolt out, and definitely recommend these tools, guys. It was really in there, but definitely recommend these extractor tools. So I finally took out the motor mounts. So right there is the transmission, and this is my jack, and here is a block of wood. Now, I've watched enough YouTube videos to know that this is probably going to be the sketchiest part. I really hate doing this. I've actually done this maybe once or twice before, and you start hearing a lot of sketchy things, and you know, like everything is still connected. It's not fun. But yeah, let's hope for the best. Let's start jacking this thing up. Oh, there we go. Make sure the block of wood is actually nice and leveled, adjust as needed. Alright, so the trick here is just to get enough room to where I can access those tiny little bolts that have been the hindrance of my life so far. Oh. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. I'm hearing a lot of wonderful noises, which is also fun to hear. So, looks like I've lifted the motor a little too much. So my motor mount, or not my motor mount, my jack stand has been lifted up ever so slightly. So that means it's lifted my whole car. Very scary, don't recommend, because then the jack can fail. But at least that's saving my life. Anyways, as you guys can see right over here, I can finally get those bolts back there, which seem like that's the culprits. I believe these are 10 mils, and there's like, I don't know, a million of them that I have to take off, and then I'm gonna do some other sketchy things to get this thing off. And I also just remembered I don't have any more RTV gasket seal, so it's already like 10 p.m. and my nearest AutoZone is closed. Great. Well, at least I can get this all prepped up and cleaned. Alright, so I got all the bolts out. The one that gave me most issue is the one that's right over here. Yeah, wastegate was in my way, but I had enough room to get in there. But yeah. Now I'm just gonna have to take this bad boy off and hope I don't break it. Also, if you're gonna use a screwdriver or a flathead, be careful not to mess up the head because you can crack it and warp it and you won't get a proper seal. But I'm probably gonna end up doing it anyway because there's nothing else I can do. And also, whoever put this oil pan on put like a freaking gasket seal all over the bolts. Very annoying. But what can I do? Just gotta work with it. Alright guys, so I've just been, I guess doing it the wrong way, but I managed to get a screwdriver in here. Didn't really take much work, but now the oil pan is free. I'm just gonna, oh, there it goes. Now I just gotta do a nice wiggle wiggle, jiggle jiggle. This is not gonna be fun to put back in. There we go. Wow, so clean. Yeah, that's a pretty good sign, guys. I like that. So, as I suspected, the oil is leaking right over there. Doesn't look like it had a good seal. But other than that, it's looking pretty nice in there, from what I could see at least. So, I guess let's do a little bit of investigation on this oil pan. It doesn't look like we have a lot of milkshake going on. For those who don't know what that means, when you see it's like white, cloudy, brownish looking stuff, you have a mixture of water and all other impurities, like the stuff that's not supposed to be in here. I also don't see glitter, which is very nice. You do not want to see glitter, as cool as that sounds. Glitter in your oil pan just means you fucked up. But I digress. We gotta take off all this excessive amount of gasket. Looks like definitely not enough sealant for sealage, especially towards the back area. It's very wet indeed. But I got one of these cool things at Wally's World. It has a plastic razor to not damage the pan as much as possible, but if this doesn't work, well, I guess I'll just use a regular razor and get this all nice and clean. But let me get all the rest of the materials that I need with a really cool, cleaning montage. How does that sound, guys? I think a cleaning montage would be a good idea. Right, Jarrell? For those who don't know, Jarrell is my video editor. So maybe she's nice enough to do a nice little cool cleaning montage.
Try to play it, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train.
Finally, she is nice and clean. Now for the piece of resistance. Can't forget about this bad boy.
He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got it.
Oof. Oh man, that magnet.
New engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing.
Like a glove. We gotta clean the underside now until we can put everything back together again. I really like how that sits there. It looks very nice. I hope it catches all the bad stuff. This is the hardest part right here. Everything is all nice and clean under the engine bay. Also nice and clean, and now we gotta put a new gasket on. Now I think Acevedo makes a gasket for this oil pan. It's like just a normal kind of cardboard looking thing. I don't recommend that because Subaru does use the gasket sealant as in the factory. Got this stuff right here. Pop a little hole. Pop. Now the reason why I say this is the hardest part, it's because getting it into that tight spot without trying to wiggle this all around is going to be a challenge. If it's not working out too well, I might actually just put the gasket portion on the actual block rather than on here. I feel like that might be easier, but this is the way they do it, so I'm gonna do it this way. I'm going to just kind of dab all around, go around the bolts, make sure I get a tight seal, but I'm gonna try to do one consecutive bead so this way I have no gaps. I don't necessarily enjoy using this stuff because it always pops on me. By the way, if you guys keep bending it from the bottom, I found that it also will pop from the bottom. So don't roll it up like a toothpaste. I made that mistake way too many times. I thought it would just be from that one that I bought. Nope. It's my least favorite part to do. My hands are already getting tired. And then once we put this under the car, we have to let it set for about an hour. And then we will continue tightening it up, mostly because you want to get like an actual gasket seal, not just a, you know, flatness. This is really not satisfying to me, at least. Alright, now that I went all around the oil pan, I'm going to go on the opposite ends of the bolts because those are probably the weakest points of the oil pan. So I'm just going to go around, get a nice seal on every. I'm probably putting way too much, but whatever excess you don't need, squish right out and you can just clean it off as you see fit. Is that all of them? Sweet. Nice. Success. But I'm gonna let this sit for maybe 10 minutes before I start messing around with it. Let it to cure up just a tiny little bit so it won't smear as bad when I try to wiggle this thing in there. So, alright, so we're gonna do the same plan as we did for the manifold, and I'm gonna use a Dremel with the wire brush to clean off all this delicious gunk. Delicious stuff. Alright, look how shiny clean that is. This is cleaned as well. Just one more to go, and that one's the worst one. Not looking forward to that one. And then I could start putting everything. Oh, wait, shit. I still gotta do this. Alright guys, so I finally got all the gaskets out. Definitely on the passenger side did not have a good seal. Also, I guess the person previous put silicone on there, not sure why, but yeah, definitely lost a lot of boost pressure because of this. I don't know if you guys can see that, but definitely lost a lot of boost pressure. And you know what, I'm pretty sure it's because there's this RTV gasket on here, which should not be on that. Same thing on this one, definitely a lot of boost leak. You can see all of this. Jesus, man. And here I thought, like, driving along that I was just gonna blow up or something. And then this one, not too bad. They actually didn't use, you know, gasket on here, gasket sealer, which is wonderful news. Well, one thing they did right on this car, doesn't look like there's any leakage, so that's great news. So I got these Grim Speed ones, gonna put these on. I also ordered some new bolts by Map Performance, and then these are the ones for comparison. They also provided me some wonderful, beautiful looking bolts. I'm also, as you can count, there's only 3 here. 1, 2, 3 for those who probably don't know how to count. One thing I've also noticed, the one that I was having a lot of trouble with, is there's a lot of tread missing in comparison. Like, just, you guys can pick that up. I have no idea what is going on. Did they just try to use whatever bolts that they had? But anyways, I'm going to plug up this oil pan so I'm not covered in oil. It's already drained out, and I'm gonna save that chocolate milk for later. Good times. I got a nice little angle for you guys to watch me struggle, because you know, most of people on YouTube are masochists and love watching people struggle. Ow!
Just so they could see me. Did what I had to do.
Maybe I should have practiced before I put the gasket on there.
The only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta
work. Where I wish I had an extra hand.
Take into your hands and plan your own hand.
Remember guys, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Also, you might want to do like a little star pattern. You don't want to have one side kind of lifted up versus the other side. That's how you create an unleveled surface. So you want to try to tighten everything up evenly. Very important, guys. If not, you guys are going to do this all over again. Alright, success. Now I just gotta put these all in there. I'm not gonna fully tighten them. I'm gonna wait until it cures for about an hour or so, and then I will completely tighten this out. So just nice and loose, just to hold the pan up, and then I'm gonna crank this bitch down. Alright guys, so now it's time to put in our shiny new gasket. Got one right there. When I'm ready to put this one up, I gotta put the manifold up, which I already have nice and clean. waiting right here. And I'm gonna lower the motor after I put the manifold back on. Just hoping that I have a little bit more space to work with because it was definitely a pain to take it off. So I also tightened up all the bolts for the oil pan. That's all good and ready to go. I think it was like 5 pounds for torquing. 5 foot-pound torque, sorry. But yeah, almost done. I've been at this for like at least a couple days. Alright guys, and that's it. Got all the bolts in. It's got shiny new bolts. The exhaust manifold all nice and clean. Brand new oil drain plug. Beautiful. And hopefully that leak is done. Now, I need to buy oil. Completely forgot to buy oil, but I am pretty confident that this will be done. Alright guys, so that exhaust manifold was a huge pain in my ass. Took a lot of moving around, findangling. I've used multiple crowbars just to wiggle it into place. Rule of thumb, I know I said I was going to leave the motor raised up a little bit while I tried to wiggle the exhaust manifold back on. Don't recommend, made my life 10 times harder. Holy crap. If you need to do this on your own, find out how much it'll cost to bring it to a mechanic, or if you're pretty confident in your skills, by all means do that. I mean, do at your own risk. I am not a trained professional, strictly YouTube learned. So anyways, I digress. Next week I will be trying to install this HKS blow-off valve. Look at this beautiful thing. Oh, there it is. It's gonna make some nice sounds. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I have no idea how to install one of these, so I'm gonna spend a few days researching, a lot of YouTubing, and hoping that I can figure this out. HKS has given me a bunch of tubings and accessories that I can potentially use to install on this Subaru. Hopefully I can figure it out. I mean, how hard could it possibly be? It's just a blow-off valve, right? Just air goes in, air goes out, and you get magical noise, right? At least that's what I'm hoping for. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time.